Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome inside the Burridge Gymnasium at McMaster University in Hamilton, Ontario. We are mere minutes away from opening serve in what is the 52nd USports Men's Volleyball National Championship. I am Jared Brown, and I'm joined today once again by Tom McCabe. UBC, Trinity Western, the all-British Columbia battle. 1 game left in the year. The winner will be your USports National Champion. And Tom, we've seen these two teams all season long be near the top of the rankings. They are 1-1 in the season series. They've been the best two teams this weekend, and whoever can win 3 sets today will be your 2018 national champ.
Absolutely. On one side, you have a team looking to sort of, for first time in school history, get that 3rd straight national title with the Trinity Western Spartans being back-to-back national gold medalists. And on the flip side, in their bright yellow jerseys, the UBC Thunderbirds looking for their first USport National Championship since 1983. So a win here for either team obviously would mean a lot, but a lot on the line in terms of some history behind both of these teams going for this gold medal. Two teams, as you said, coming from the West, seeing each other a few times this year. UBC, one of 2 teams in the country to take down Trinity Western in the regular season, the other being Brandon. It was a 3-1 defeat fairly recently, February 9th, a 3-1 win.
So here we go. It'll be the USports 2018 Player of the Year. Adam Schreimer put the first 7 to play. Taken by West. Back to Regier. Dug up there by Elser. Schreimer off the net, outside. Lepke. And Lepke off the hands and down. And Eric Lepke, they're calling him Eric Strepke. See the sign in the crowd there. Battling strep throat. Didn't play Friday, but he was amazing last night in that semifinal victory over Trinity Western. Schreimer serves again, taken by West. Back to Regier again, and Joel Regier said he puts on the hard hat, he brings the lunchbox, right? This guy just does his job. He goes out there, doesn't get a lot of recognition with some of the big name players in this UBC team, but he is so effective. He'll now go back to serve.
Joel Regier was so good last night, especially on the blocking side of things. 5 blocks for him against the Alberta Golden Bears.
Schreimer on the run, goes middle to Howe, and that's hit wide. Point UBC. We just did a little interview before the game here with volleyball source with Everett DeLorme, and he asked in my opinion, what's going to be the deciding factor, and I think it's going to be that serve, right? Whatever team can serve better. UBC has served just lights out through 2 days. Trinity Western struggled yesterday a little bit. If UBC can really get rolling, it's going to make things difficult for Trinity Western. That ball also hit out. And the thing about that is Trinity's offense is so good. They're so deep. They can come at you in so many ways. The only way you stop it, you serve the ball so hard they can't run anything.
Yeah, it's going to have to be from the service line where UBC will find their advantage. #1 team in the country in terms of service aces as well as total kills, but Trinity Western pretty much leading in every other statistical category. Although on a stage like this, stats throughout the year don't mean much. It's whoever can get it done today.
That's right. Throw everything out. All that matters is these next few sets as McCarthy keeps the play alive. Keterakis dumps it over, but Bergen makes a diving save. Kern, left side, tip shot. Kept alive again, but this time Keterakis puts it over the net, out of bounds. So Keterakis, he's endless entertainment out there, right? He plays with this kind of freewheeling style that you don't see much of, and it can probably be maddening at times, right, when he goes out there and some of the plays that he makes, but always looking to push the envelope as Lepke's huge bomb taken by West. Joust at the net, kept back alive, bumps it outside to Brar, way past the pin. Huge cross-court shot, dug up by Bergen. And now this could maybe be 4 hits. No, play will continue. Passed up by Smith. Keterakis goes back over to McCarthy. And McCarthy at the top of the block. Kept alive. And coming over, but it goes out of bounds. And Finn McCarthy, the X factor, in my opinion, Tom, to this game, gets his first kill of the day.
Finn McCarthy, the rookie sensation on this UBC Thunderbird squad. Played a lot of middle at the start of the regular season. Was a middle on the junior national team this summer, but made the transition to right side. We are intrigued to see coming into this tournament if they would try to put him back in the middle, but he's been out on the right, and he has been fantastic for UBC.
Keterakis with the serve, but they handle that one no problem, and Elser one-on-one, he'll score on that more often than not. So side out back to the Spartan side, and it'll be Jackson Howell, the 12-footer. Recently touched 12 feet on the spike. Very impressive, first-year player. His jump float. Taken by Smith. It's tight. Keterakis goes up to get it, and Deshane finds the sideline, and Jordan DeShane, I'm a big fan. You know, just the way that he plays the game. Saying the two middles on UBC, I don't think they get, you know, by the time you run through their lineup, you know, it all starts kind of West and Brar and Kedarakis and McCarthy, and then, you know, the middles, there's not much left pie left, you know, for them, but they get their job done out there.
Absolutely. Talked a lot about how almost a thankless job it can be being a middle. See the booming serve from Irvin Brar. Even better pipe attack from Lepke, something we saw a lot of yesterday. Lepke leading the charge on offense for Trinity Western against McMaster, and a lot of it came out of the back row, and there's no one really better at setting that pipe attack in the country than Adam Schreimer.
Kern back to serve, taken there by Smith. Kedarakis bumps it outside to West, and West is blocked there by Schreimer. So there's the hold, back to the Spartan side. We're tied 5-5.
And after the middle, the two middles of Shenko and Howe on this Trinity team, Schreimer, one of the best blockers on the floor, helps being 6'7" as a setter. He is so good at shutting the door.
McCarthy off the block and into the crowd. So a good start for Finn McCarthy, and you see him come down, mouthing the words, "I'm just too high." When you contact the ball, another 12-footer. We have a couple in this game. You know, just hit a good shot when you're up that high. It's tough to stop.
Yeah, we saw McCarthy struggled a little bit early yesterday against Alberta. He hit some good shots, but they just weren't finding the floor going. Like we were saying, a few tiles just to the left or right of the court, but nice to see him getting it going early here.
UBC bench thought Kern was over, but play continues, and now it's dumped down by Ashenko, but kept alive. Brar's going to bump it all the outside to West, and West, deep tip, taken there by Kern. Schreimer keeps it alive to Elser, and Elser goes off the block of his junior national teammate, Finn McCarthy.
We want to talk about impressive rookies. Jesse Elser done a terrific job stepping into a starting role in his first year at Trinity Western, hitting a cool 301 on the season. He was also 5th in the Can West in aces per set. He can do some damage from the service line.
Elser, big serve, handled by Smith. Outside West, it's tight, and he goes off the top of the hand of Schreimer and long.
We're going to talk a lot through this game, Jared, about the serving strength of the UBC Thunderbirds, one of the best serving teams in the country. But Trinity Western can bring some heat of their own. Going to be really important for both teams. Really focus in on passing. Talking with some of the Trinity coaches yesterday, they said when we pass well, there's not many teams in the country who will stop us. I think the same is going to go for both of these teams here today.
Lepke left side, high swing, but out of bounds. They thought they had a touch, but it goes out. The Trinity fans certainly saw a touch. Finn McCarthy will serve again. This is a match of pure power, right? This is not you know, play it safe. There's nothing in neither team's vocabulary here. It's aggression all the time. Kedarakis with the dump. That scores 9-6 now, T-Birds.
And I think with, you know, the comment you make about this is power versus power, but two different styles of power I find just from watching them play through this tournament. The UBC Thunderbirds, a lot more freewheeling. You're going to see a lot more creativity, some spontaneous plays perhaps. And on the Trinity Western side, a little more systematic in their approach. They make a lot of little adjustments throughout the match. Ben Josephson always scribbling notes on his clipboard. But both teams definitely able to bring a lot of heat, either from the service line or on the attack.
Yeah, and I discussed this yesterday, and it's important to remind everybody that it's their structure, though, right? They are very structured, both teams, in their style of play. It just might look different to you than what you're used to seeing. But there is certainly a lot of great coaching on both sides and great athletes as Keith West. What a pickup he was, a transfer from Calgary.
And a great shot. He got the one-on-one block, went hard cross where the middle blocker would have been, but a great job in the middle there by Regier to get Howe up with him, and one-on-one for West. He takes advantage.
West, big bomb of the serve, taken by Kern. Schreimer tracks it down. Good play to keep it alive. Kedarakis looks to go to Regier, but sets it over the net. Play continues. And the ball's tight, so Kedarakis goes to hit it, and he does hit it off the block and out of bounds, but it hit Regier on the way down. So he gets called for 2 hits there as he tried to recover.
Kedarakis, a server who loves to get himself involved with the Thunderbirds offense, had 4 kills for himself last night, along with 7 aces, close to a career high for him.
Goes pipe to West. set a little bit tight, so it's dug up and continues. Lepke left side, power tip. McCarthy was coming into the middle of the court. It's just incredible when you look at the two benches here, Tom, and you got multiple coaches on both sides. You got laptops, you got computers, you got iPads, you got notebooks, you got every single thing you ever need to keep track. Both coaches madly scribbling things down on their books. They both have very nice custom team clipboards. You mentioned that yesterday.
And Coach Kerry McDonald for the UBC Thunderbirds obviously very happy with his team's win yesterday, but said, I got to go prep. He needed to get out of there. They've seen this team all year, but he still said that's the thing about a tournament of this scale. You constantly have to be doing preparation for your next match. Who else are you going to be seeing? What did they do? Pick up their tendencies. And he was out of here as quickly as he could, so start looking at film of Trinity Western.
Well, and the hard thing for UBC as well is they played in the second semifinal, right? So, you know, for Trinity, they know who they're going to play. I mean, it goes both ways, right? After their game, they can sit around and they can prepare for both teams. When you're UBC, right, you're preparing for your match. You don't want to spend too much time preparing for who you're going to play because you don't know if you're going to win, as that ball has a ton of spin on it. So Brar hits it over. Schreimer goes middle there to Howe, kept alive. Now a joust. Keterakis, though, on the net. Now we're tied up at 11. Head official not pleased with something here on the UBC side. Calling over Captain Urban Brar. Keith West getting the warning here, I think. So we're tied 11-11. Lepke on the line. Went for the short roll serve last time, but he can bring the heat. Maybe the hardest spin serve in the tournament. Goes after that one and goes back to the Trinity side, and Elser just looks to place it down, but McCarthy makes a diving save. Brar's gonna set it over, taken by Kern. Schreimer quickly outside to Elser, and it's Keterakis one-on-one. And that was the big part of what UBC felt confident in. They have the two biggest position two blockers they feel that can slow down Lepke and Elser. I don't know if anybody really ever stops those players, but you can slow them down. And I'm sure Trinity feels the same way with Kern and Schreimer on their side. As Keterakis' serve falls down on the Trinity Western side, and he picks up an ace.
Keterakis' first ace of the day, likely won't be his last. And a great point you make too, oftentimes setter's a little bit undersized compared to some of the other players, but in this game we've got two very tall setters, and you're not going to get much of a break when your setter is in the front row. Both of them very talented blockers.
That set push past the pin, so Kern just sets it over, and Duchesne is there waiting for it, smokes it down. You wish you'd see more players do that, right? These players try to set the short free ball. Well, what's the best defense for it? You just go up and hit it.
The good old one ball, as I like to say.
Because nobody wants the middle taking the free ball anyways, right? They just get in the way, stay at the net, be aggressive, take the swing. Good job there by Duchesne. Short roll shot, serve, picked up by Bergen. Lepke out of the back row. And again, we see that the effectiveness of that run with Lepke out of the back. There's a couple yesterday Lepke had that were just international. You know, you're going to see that in the Olympics.
Yeah, some absolute bombs yesterday from Lepke out of the back row. That one not as hard as hit, but still was able to place it very well. Found the back corner of the court.
House serve goes long. Side out UBC. Brar now goes back to the line. 15-12. First set, USports Men's National Volleyball Championship, UBC and Trinity Western. Brar just wide.
And that will be sort of that tightrope that UBC will walk along this entire game. They're a very aggressive serving team. If they can put their serves in, if they can execute well from the back line, then they're in very good shape. But sometimes we've seen it through the year, they can really struggle if they're not able to place their serves. But Finn McCarthy really rolling early here, so that takes us into the first technical timeout.
Yeah, McCarthy coming out on fire. Said a bit uneven on the first 2 days, had some big plays, but not as consistent as I'm sure he would like to be, but starting off very well so far in this opening set, 16-13, UBC leads. You have a chance to take a look at some plays here, Tom, from the first set. See the diving one-handed save, and great job there by Bergen to keep it alive. And I think, we talked about that power that these two teams have, but you're seeing a lot of great defensive plays too. It's not like they're just going up there and just hitting everything and nobody's making stops. I mean, these teams are well-rounded. They're just ultra aggressive in every aspect of the game.
Absolutely. We saw some especially terrific defense, I thought, from Trinity Western against McMaster yesterday, and what kind of became a bit of a side-out battle at times, especially when it was really close. Teams just sort of trading points back and forth. And definitely anchored back there by Carter Bergen, fourth-year libero for the Spartans. One of the few veterans in the starting lineup, himself and Adam Schreimer. The rest of that young Koroshenko, Elser, Lepke, Kern, so much young talent. Something to look forward to if you're a Spartans fan.
Yeah, there's lots to look forward to in the present and the future for both these teams. I mean, the players they have, the depth they have on the bench, and the incoming recruits that have already committed to these programs. I mean, it just never seems to end. I mean, you have the reigning 18U MVP is a 17-year-old Brody Hofer coming to Trinity Western next year. You got Michael Dohaniak coming to UBC. I mean, it's just year after year adding huge pieces. Elser, three-man block kept alive by Bergen. Elser again, and this time looks for the hands, and he does find them. McCarthy tried to sell it. I mentioned there, we did have a serving sub, Danny Aspenleader, who came off the bench yesterday and played a big role as well. So now going back to serve is Elser. Oh, short serve taken there by Brar. They go 30 to Regier. Diving save by Kern. Back to the Thunderbird side. Keterakis outside to West, and West off the hands. I just love the, if you watch, just the enjoyment and the emotion that both teams play with. They really thoroughly enjoy scoring points.
Absolutely, and who wouldn't, especially on a stage this big. Both teams taking any opportunity they can to really celebrate their accomplishments.
McCarthy, tough serve, handcuffs Elser a little bit. And now some confusion as whose ball that was. Results in a free swing here for UBC. West uses those hands of Ashenko, and Keith West is fired up.
There's a little better communication needed on the Spartan side. They're talking it over right now as Schreimer is running out of the court and just tried to put it straight up, looking for someone to come and hit that C ball, but instead the free ball gives the Thunderbirds an easy opportunity, and Keith West converts.
McCarthy will serve again, 18-14. That one goes into the tape. Finn McCarthy, somebody to definitely keep an eye on as the years go forward. Mentioned touching 12 feet as Jackson Howe checks into the front row for Trinity Western, also another 12-footer. So to put that in perspective for those who don't really, they need a marker. The net's only 8 feet as Brar's swing goes wide. The net's only 8 feet. The rim in basketball is 10. The top of the backboard's 12. So you start to think about, okay, well, that's pretty darn high. I remember, phys ed class, there's people probably thinking, I could barely even touch the rim, never mind touch the top of the backboard.
Not to mention Jackson Howe and Pearson Ashenko both touching easily over 11 feet just on their block touches.
McCarthy off the hands, and I think we kind of touched this subject a little bit about how, it's great that you can touch that high, but where are you contacting the ball when you hit it? And for these players, we're seeing they're contacting the ball high above the net. They're not just simply jumping and trying to hit the ball straight down. A lot of shots off the hands and using the defense that's given to them as Schreiner puts that ball over. Quickly outside to Brar, and Brar, a nice catch there by Bergen, but unfortunately that's not allowed. It's actually a carry ball called in the dig. You don't see that very often in a hard-driven ball. Yeah. So now we'll have a timeout, 20-16 UBC. Coach Josephson wants to talk things over with the Spartans.
Bergen was pretty much in perfect defensive position there, but just had his arms a little wide. The ball was just stopped, caught right between his arms. Would have been a great play in dodgeball, but again, you just see how effective Irvin Brar and the rest of this Thunderbirds offense can be, especially when they get a single block. Brar taking nice advantage of the single block there. As we're going to take a look back at some recent plays here as both teams talk things over in their huddles. Great defensive hustle early on from Finn McCarthy too. The rookie getting down to play that one. You see Keterakis going up on the block. Keith West ending off That one right out, a nice shot. Both teams using the block well early, I thought, here too.
I spent some time in Vancouver this summer with Coach McDonald and Youth Selects team training in Vancouver. And Keith West, he knew he was coming there this year, and he was already there in the summer, putting work in, and decided to move to Vancouver, kind of get acclimatized to everything. And that's just you really can't say it's a massive pickup for this team. I mean, they were going to be a strong team no matter what, and then he transfers in, and he's a former junior national team player when he was playing with Calgary, and West, he's a very, very strong player from Lethbridge, Alberta, and fifth and final season, him and Brar both. Brar, great pass. Keturakis goes back row, tipped over there by McCarthy, picked up by Bergen. They go back to Lepke, and Brar is on the net on the way down. He looks at the referee a bit bewildered, but
Brar caught with his knee, I think on the way down.
Knee, so that tells you how high he is, if his knee is hitting the net. I don't think I ever had that problem when I was blocking.
No, neither did I, unfortunately. But a great block touch, though, on Eric Lepke there by Brar.
West goes down low to get that one. Smith, it's tight. Brar's going to try to go power tip it, and he does. He squeezes it right through that block. And, sometimes in situations like that, when you are so high above the net, he squeezes that ball low through the arms. Their hands are way up there. They actually can't get a press on the ball. And sometimes the disadvantage of being so high is that those situations like that one. 21-18, Regier, jump float. Taken there by Elser. You go middle to Howe on that push set almost. And then Keturakis comes back with the dump. Kept alive. Lepke, power tip. Coming right into our viewpoint here.
Defensive hustle from the big middle, Regier. Although not able to play that one up.
We saw the leaping ability and the hand come of Howe on that one, right? They almost pushed the ball past the block. And because he's up there for so long, he can cut it back to one. Good rip there by Lepke, handled by West, outside to Brar, and Brar with a bit of a longer swing on that one. You saw the arm go way down and all the way back around.
Yeah, you want to talk about hang time, Irvin Brar. Listed as 6'2", just definitely a bit shorter than most left sides you'll see. But boy, does he make up for it with an incredible leaping ability. We saw there just hanging in the air. Bit of a windmill swing for the kill.
Keturakis teed off on that one, but just into the tape.
UBC hanging on with a 2-point lead here late in the first set, but 5 service errors already. We talk about kind of being the second edge of that sword they swing, being so talented from the service line.
Well, that ball was being called out, but I think it was in, so a good take by West. McCarthy, roll shot, catches Schreimer on the move. Side out UBC.
Seen so much power from McCarthy in this tournament. That's one of the best shots I've seen him hit. In terms of whether or not he swing as full as he can. That was a tough set to hit. He went up, timed it perfectly, and a real nice cut shot down the line. Catching UBC, guessing a little bit, or catching Trinity, sorry.
Brar will now serve. That one goes long. And we had this discussion, our coaches, we talked about missed serves and how it's very hard to get into a rhythm on your side out if the other team misses a lot of serves, right? So when you serve that aggressive, especially with a lead like they have 23-21, sometimes it doesn't give them as much momentum as seeing the ball go down to the floor, as exactly what happens right there. Right now, West comes back, he feels good, right? He's got a good play there under his belt, whereas that missed serve, yeah, you get the point, but you didn't necessarily feel like you earned it, and it's harder to kind of generate momentum that way. So that's what we see at the international level, right? The teams just serve so tough, and that's what's trickling down here now to the USports. All the top teams so aggressive, and there's another one missed by Duchesne. Can make it harder sometimes for the fans. They don't understand why you have to serve so hard, right? And that's the first thing everyone's parent always says is, they miss so many serves. Yeah, but that's the way the game is played at this level.
You have to be aggressive if you do want to put teams in trouble. It'd be easy just to pop a floater over every time, but.
Oh, and that ball called in. Head official overrules. The UBC bench was all over that one. So that serve goes long. 25-22. UBC takes the opener and now leads 1-0 in the 52nd USports Men's Volleyball National Championship. We will step aside quickly here and be back with you for the start of the second set. are looking live at the Burge Gymnasium in McMaster University at Hamilton, Ontario. Jared Brown, Tom McCabe. Set number 2 coming up right away. It's UBC who won the first 25-22. And Tom, how did they do it?
I think they really just did it. UBC, obviously mixing in some aggressive serves. They missed 7 serves and a -6 total, 1 ace for 7 errors, but that is the style they're going to play. Their offense really just seemed to get going early. We see Keith West leading the way for UBC with 5, but Finn McCarthy right there with him, 5 kills of his own. So a great opening set from the pins for UBC. Irvin Brar contributing 3 kills. Keterakis doing a good job distributing that ball. Both teams hitting fairly efficiently, 455% for UBC, 320 for Trinity Western, but UBC ultimately having the upper hand, 18 kills compared to Trinity's 12 in that opening set. So UBC kind of let Trinity hang around a little bit with their errors from the service line. But both teams showing some good offense so far. I think we could be in for a long match.
Well, interesting thing is Trinity Western has now lost 3 straight first sets in this tournament as Deshane and Keterakis put the clamps down on Eric Lepke. But they're comfortable here, right? They've been in this situation. It's not like they've won 3 straight both first nights. They won in 4 on Friday, 1 in 4 yesterday, and both times lost the first. So they'll make their adjustments and they'll come back. And yeah, I was asked my prediction before the game. I said, I don't know who's going to win, but I think it's going to be 5 sets. I kind of copped out a little bit on that, but
I'd probably agree with you, partner.
Brar down the line, dug up by Elser. Schreimer goes pipe to Kern, and Kern out of the back row with the kill.
We talked a lot about, Trinity Western's probably one of their best traits is just how they can come out from set to set, especially after dropping a set and just not seeming down at all. They come right back. Obviously, you don't want to get 2 down. It's 1 set in, the biggest game of the year, and you can't just pack it in after losing the first one. But they just never look deterred. They never look bothered, and they always seem to make the right adjustments that help them get right back into the game.
Brar's attack, dug up, outside to Lepke. McCarthy, diving save. Pushed all the way across by Keterakis, and Brar goes for the hands but doesn't find them. Yeah, the one thing, if somebody were to ask me, what separates Trinity Western from the pack, why have they had so much success? How do you go for 3 straight national championships? And it's just the composure of the team. They just always seem to be just unflappable. And obviously that comes from the top down, right? The way they train, the confidence that's ingrained into the team. And it helps having great talent, but to be able to play that way is pretty impressive as Elser tries to go for the highlight reel to Lepke, but pushes it into the pin. We've seen that a few times from a couple different players, and Copper's doing it in the bronze medal game, and Brar a couple times yesterday, and that's that desire to, push the envelope there, right? Try to be more creative, change the style of play as Trinity goes 4-man receive on the Keterakis serve, passed up by Elser, and Howe blocked there by Jordan Deshane. So a couple early blocks for UBC, only 2 blocks in the first set, 1 apiece for each team, and now we've already seen a couple here.
A terrific read there in the middle by Deshane, with a great pass in the back row from Elser off a real hard Keterakis serve.
Elser's pass outside to Lepke, and Lepke just had enough the right spin. Sometimes that ball coming off the block spins back the other way and drops in. That time it was spinning away from the court and went out.
UBC, though, doing a very good job early on of getting some solid block touches on Lepke. That's Lepke's 7th kill already in this match.
Keterakis back to Brar down the line, and Bergen caught leaning back into the court, mishandled that one. Ben Josephson says that Carter Bergen is the best athlete they've ever had in team history, which is a pretty bold statement.
Had some very good athletes in their past.
Steve Marshall's one of the first guys that comes to mind, obviously, with his athleticism. But Bergen, I said I've known him for years, as a coached against him for a long time in Winnipeg, and he was a great left side hitter. He's a little smaller. You kind of look at him at first glance, but he could absolutely fly. Has the highest vertical, biggest vertical in Trinity Western history. Smith comes up there for a good pass. West tips deep, taken by Schreimer. High set from Lepke. Soft block, kept alive. Bergen on the cover. This ball's tight. Elser's going to have to try to do something with it, but he's on the net.
Wise choice there from McCarthy, bringing his hands down at the last second, not trying to block. It was a very tight set, and he's sort of giggling about it, thank God. Elser sort of bailing him out, though, being on the net.
McCarthy's always just laughing. You know, I don't think he takes himself too seriously. He just seems to have fun out there, and you know, it's a nice way to play the game. McCarthy and Regier slow down the Ulster attack, but it goes back to the Trinity Western side, and Kern flushes it down.
Jacob Kern.
5-5 here.
Jacob Kern kind of in the middle in terms of age on this roster, being in third year, obviously. Lepke being in second year, the two middles both being second year for Ashenko and first for Howe, who's just not able to get a solid defensive touch on that ball. So Kern right in the middle. Been a solid contributor here all weekend. Another player who's kind of progressed, had a bit of a rough opener against Windsor attacking wise, but really come into his own in the last few matches.
McCarthy goes back to serve. T-Bird leads 6-5. The serve taken there by Bergen. Schreimer on the run. High ball to Kern. He tries to tip it over, but the block is there. Keterakis goes up and takes a swing, and it goes back to Regier, who tips it over. Now it's Elser, and Elser's blocked, and then gets called on 2 hits as it came down off of his head, and then he tried to play it up. So the UBC block starting to have an impact in this match here, Tom. That's, I think, 4 blocks in this set.
Yeah, like we mentioned a few points ago, they've been getting good touches, especially on some of the more powerful hitters like Lepke, but they've been really consistent in this second set, making some really good reads, especially we saw in the middle a few times.
Schreimer to Ashenko. Ashenko from Banff. An opportunity to see him play for the first time when he was with Elite West in Calgary, and you know, he was a big pickup. It's had some injuries earlier on in his career. So it was a leg issue, I believe, and wasn't able to play in his first season of eligibility 2 years ago here at this tournament, and now back to full health, and he's a big load in the middle there, both blocking and attacking. You know, a lot of times you have you know, middles who kind of seem to thrive at one skill over the other, right? You have some who are really good attackers or really good blockers, but that seems to be changing now. We're seeing, you know, the middles, they're not 6 position players, right? They don't go through 6 rotations, but they have to be able to do both. I don't think you just be out there and just be good at blocking. You have to be able to do both.
Actually seen some decent defense as well from some middles this weekend.
A couple big digs, but I mean, good servers too, right? Like, you got to be well-rounded. You can't afford to have deficiencies in any skills anymore, as Elser comes back with a big serve of his own, and that's Trinity Western's first ace, I believe. It's 8-8 here in the second set. Hope everybody is comfortable. You just get the feeling this one is going to settle into a nice long match here between these two teams. So Regier going back to serve. So Regier is from Courtenay, BC. A lot of BC-born players on the team, but spread out through all different areas of the province. Lepke goes up against 3 guys, but isn't able to get it through as Keterakis, Deshane, and Brar team up for the stuff on Lepke.
Another great example. A tough float serve puts Trinity Western out of their comfort zone, having to go out assist to Lepke. And that triple block knew exactly where it was going. Brar was able to close it really nicely to shut down Eric Lepke.
Kern out of the back row, and this time it's Brar who gets the stuff block. And but the blocking of the T-Birds is really coming to play here in this second. They lead 11-8.
Irvin Brar would have liked a little help from Deshane, but proved he didn't even need it. Great read from him. Great extension and press over the net. 3-0 run here quickly for the Thunderbirds, has them up 11-8.
Regier's serve, taken there, handled by Bergen. Ashenko trying to fix as that ball was a little bit too low and couldn't come up with it, goes long, and Coach Josephson will call timeout. Not looking too pleased, as his team lost the first and is trailing 12-8 here in the second. They're going for 3 straight national championships, which hasn't been done since the Winnipeg Westmen over 30 years ago.
It would be their 6th in school history, a very impressive total. Trinity Western in 12 tournament appearances since 2004. They medaled 10 times, 5 of those being gold medals, 3 silver and 2 bronze. There's 28 and 8 at nationals throughout that stretch. So impressive, so consistent is this program, led by Ben Joseph and Joel Jansen as well. Also seen Ben Ball on the bench for the Spartans, former standout setter for the Spartans, player of the year back in his day, a national champion 2012.
Yeah, they won their first national championship in this building against University of Alberta in 2006. And I was here that year. That started things, and that was the end. Ron Pike was the head coach before Ben Josephson, and he stepped aside and pursued an opportunity outside of volleyball. And Josephson, who was a former player and assistant coach of the program, took over, and took a couple years to kind of get things set up with he had that great young recruiting class of Ben Ball and Mark Howitson and Rudy Verhoof, and you see a kill there. And they had a very young team at that time, but obviously that core won a couple national championships. There's a spot on the floor here as Bergen's asking to be cleaned up. So 13-8, UBC opening up a bit of a gap here. It's our floor sweat sweepers, what we call them here, the official towel boys. I don't know.
Going out for a third time there.
Good work, boys. They're sitting right by us. And what a cool opportunity for them, right? They got the best seats, second best seats. Ours are a little more comfortable than theirs.
Yeah.
But it's good to be watching here, young volleyball fans watching this game up close and personal. Lepke, power tip down the line, dug up by McCarthy. Keterakis goes back to him, and he goes through the hands of Lepke and down. And right now, Trinity Western just doesn't have an answer, and Coach Josephson is going to call his second and final timeout. 14-8.
Definitely think there must be something fairly specific Josephson's noticing, taking timeouts so close together here. Like we mentioned, UBC's block has just looked absolutely terrific. Only 1 block in the first set, now 5 here early, midway through this second set. Really done a good job slowing down the strong offense from the Trinity Western Spartans. We'll see here Deshane going up in the middle. Great read on Ashenko. On the flip side, Irvin Brar getting it done on offense, and then the shutting down Elser and Lepke. So the block defense of the Thunderbirds, big reason for this gap right now.
I think it's interesting for UBC. They had so much pressure, I would think, in that match where against Alberta in that series, to get to nationals, right? They know that if they win that series, that they qualify. And if they would have lost, they would have had to win 1 game, the 3rd place game in Canada West, which was against Winnipeg, which they did. But now that they're here, you wonder if it's just, okay, we know what we're capable of doing, right? Because they really executed at such a high level. And they didn't. They struggled in that series against Alberta. I watched that series online, and they didn't play their best. And Alberta took advantage of that as Ashenko gets a kill to the timeout. And I think Trinity had a bit of an easier series against Winnipeg. Just matchup-wise, they handled Winnipeg fairly well. Winnipeg played tough, really tough, but Trinity was just too much for them. And now that they're here, it seems like UBC is they're just rolling, through 3 days. Up 5 points here, looking good in this second set. But to Trinity Western, they just do not go away. The number one thing I've always, if you kind of admire them as a coach, you just think is the ability to just continue moving forward no matter what the situation is. They don't get too down. But they're in a bit of a hole here right now in this second set, down 15-9. But great pass there off the Keterakis serve. Lepke looks for the tip. It's kept alive and covered here. Go back. Free swing coming for the T-Birds. Keterakis goes middle to Deshane, and Deshane converts. And the T-Birds are leading 16-9. Everybody from the T-Birds bench, coaches and players, comes flying off. Lots of high fives. They're feeling good, and they should be.
Yeah, Jordan Deshane getting his 3rd kill on his 3rd attempt already in this game. Great offense we've seen from him so far as the Thunderbirds cruise with a nice lead into this technical timeout in the second set. You were just talking a few moments ago, Jared, about how, just how good UBC's looked from their very first game. Absolutely dominating against the UNB Reds. And in their first quarterfinal, and then versus Alberta last night. 17 aces as a team. Obviously their strength is their serving, and they really put that on display last night. 17 was their highest ace total all season, which beat 16 that they had a few weeks ago, February 23rd against Manitoba. They had 16 aces, and that was the game where Byron Keterakis had his career high of 8. So
yeah,
we
a
saw
lot of those Manitoba players I know quite well. They're former 204 players, alumni of our club, and now coach with us. And they came home from that series and just said, like, it was just stupid. That's honestly what they said. They said the serving was just ridiculous. Like, they just served us off the floor, and we saw that against UNB, and we saw it against Alberta. And I think Trinity doing a really good job of handling the serves, but I mean, not getting aced is one thing, but they're just not able to really get into rhythm on their offense here with some of these servers. They're not putting up the aces like we saw, but a lot of balls like that, right? It's hard. All the balls that Trinity's scoring on in this set, they're hard earned. And they haven't had a lot of really good, clean looks to swing at, and that's why the T-Birds are up 6 points.
Eric Lepke gets his 8th kill there. You talk about not a clean shot, but just able to use that UBC block to his advantage.
That was an ace, just called the postage stamp. Top corner, just snuck in there. UBC agrees. They said, yeah, it was in. No arguments on that one. 5-point game. Schreimer serves again. Oh, and a great save by Keterakis. What a play. Schreimer goes pipe to Elser and teed off, but a dig. Now Keterakis comes out of the back row. Kept alive on the Trinity side. Bergen's going to get it over. Free ball coming here. What a rally. Back to Brar, and Brar hits that one off the touch.
Trinity Western adamant there was not a touch on that block. Ben Josephson not happy at all, but what a rally from both teams. Just Keith West in the back row with an unbelievable dig, keeping that one alive. Also big credit to Byron Keterakis running around the net post, bringing that one back onto his side.
That's a big point, right? Because if that goes Trinity's way, it's a 4-point game. Now it doesn't in 6. And 6 at this stage of the set is tough. 17-11. Trinity going 4-man receive almost every time here against these big bomb servers, which is probably why, I mean, it's nice they have the ability, Kern, who could play left side or right side. He does a lot of passing, but it's why they've been able to slow down this UBC receive a bit. As that one is in and off the block, and they're on the net. There's, I think, all 3 things there.
UBC, everything just going right for them. Getting the touch call off the block, and then Trinity Western helping them out being on the net. Obviously their blocking been a huge part of this second set, helping them be out to a 7-point lead.
Oh, Brar, that's maybe his best serve of the weekend. Oh, he went after that one, and Bergen, valiant effort, and they're just discussing those seams, trying to figure things out. But that toss was really aggressive, and he almost had no choice. He had to kind of basically roll it over or just hit it as hard as he possibly could, and luckily for UBC, he went for the latter. And another big serve, but that one goes long.
UBC and Trinity Western split their regular season matchup in the Canada West series, but I know this reading, I wasn't able to watch the game, but reading in the game UBC won. Again, it was the serving that really just took over. Josephson said that it took them out of their comfort zone. They weren't able to do the things they wanted to do offensively to beat them. We're seeing a lot of that here. Trinity Western becoming very uncomfortable, largely in part due to the serving of UBC. Trinity Western earning that point off of the missed serve from Brar, but giving it right back with a missed serve of their own.
And now it is Aspen Leader who's come in. And that ball goes off the arms of Elser into the back wall. 21-12. Discussed yesterday how that score often seems to come up in volleyball sets. Great Rush album. Shout out to Jeff Zylstra. 9-point lead, 21-12. Jump float, this time short. Elser does a better job on that one, and
How about that one?
How you doing? That was a great swing there. Great run.
Really one of the cleanest looks we've seen Trinity Western get offensively all set. One of the first attacks that UBC hasn't gotten at least a touch on. And a nice side out for the Spartans as they're going to do anything they can to try to close the gap as time is running out for them. UBC just 4 points away.
Katarakis off the net, outside to West, and that one's out of bounds. So it's a 7-point game. First set was pretty close, 25-22. A bit more of a gap here in this one for T-Birds. 21-14, all the way back across to McCarthy, and Ashenko and Elser team up. This is what I mean about Trinity, where they just don't care almost, right? They don't care that you're playing amazing. They don't care that you're up. 21-12, a lot of teams are thinking national final, down a set, down 21-12, you know, what are we doing wrong? No, they just keep moving forward, keep putting the pressure on you, and eventually they hope you're gonna crack. They kind of believe that they make the teams, you know, they'll have to play their best game to beat them, and right now that's what UBC is doing, as West finds the corner and gives a bit of an Ultimate Warrior celebration there.
West done a great job attacking cross court throughout this match, going sharp cross. We see the deep shot there, finding the back corner. So he's hitting pretty comfortably, already 6 points in this game.
McCarthy gets the ace on Bergen, and in that first set they were a -6, Tom, with 1 ace and 7 errors. We're gonna take a look here and see on this second set. Things have definitely changed into their advantage now. 4 aces to 9 errors, so they're crawling back, winning that battle. McCarthy this time, passed better by Bergen, back to Kern. Covered by Bergen, outside to Elser, and Smith gets a hand on it. Back wall, off the touch. It'll be Kern who will go back to the line. Remember yesterday I talked about how when you play your best, it makes the other team not play their best? And that's definitely what we're seeing right now, is UBC is just playing at a level that Trinity can't get into that gear that they're used to being in. And it's resulted in a 24-16 lead in this second set.
And already 7 service errors and no aces in this match for Trinity Western, as West has a miss of his own. So now UBC will try to play side out to take this second set. A fairly commanding 2-0 lead in the gold medal game here in Hamilton.
24-17, set point number 2. Elser goes to the spin serve toss, but comes back with that float serve. And that's so hard to do. Like, I think people watching home don't realize how tough it is to hit a float serve with a spin serve toss and come in like that. That's very high on the degree of difficulty.
Huge weapon to have in your back pocket if you can pull it off.
But that one into the net, and 25-18, UBC takes the second set and now are 1 set away from claiming their first national championship since 1983. If Trinity Western is in fact going to win 3 straight USports national championships, they're going to do it the hardest way possible, as they are down 2 sets to none. We will step aside, reset, and be back with you for the start of the third.
Every day is a chance to flip the script, an invitation to take everything we know and reinvent it. It takes courage. It's an obsession. Never settling for just good enough. It takes a true creator to make something out of nothing. It takes guts. Calling all creators. Those who see obstacles as a chance to win bigger. Calling all creators, the game changers, the difference makers, the boundary breakers, the tomorrow takers. Calling all creators. Get up, invent, adapt, write new rules. Calling all creators. It's a new day. Create something.
Welcome back inside the Birds Gymnasium in Hamilton, Ontario at McMaster University. It's the 52nd USports Men's Volleyball National Championship. Jared Brown, Tom McCabe, UBC up 2-0, looking to end the Trinity Western run. We have a couple replays here, Tom, from that second set. It's very interesting here. I think we were kind of predicting 5 sets, but right now it's been all UBC. Trinity just been overpowered. Simply, I don't think they're playing that poorly. You know, if you look at the stats, it's just been all UBC through 2 sets. And I know that Trinity Western, if any sign of the way they've played in the past, they're going to come to play here in this third. And I personally would be surprised if they can't pull off this third set. But the way UBC is playing, and they've been incredible right from the first point on Friday.
Yeah, they look like they've just been in another gear, coming in here with a vengeance. Consistently ranked as one of the top 2 teams in the country, and then if you ask them, they would definitely say that they had to settle for CanWest bronze. Pummeled Alberta as a bit of a revenge game last night. Revenge from the CanWest semifinal.
Keturakis just goes up and hits it instead of setting it. Kept alive, Lepke off the top of the hands. And you know, if we look at the stats there, Lepke, who was really all world yesterday, it seems like he's struggling today, but 8 kills, 3 errors, 18 attempts, and that's not a bad game by any stretch. And none of their numbers jump out as, you know, as being poor per se. They're just not at that same level that we saw yesterday from Trinity in that victory over Mac.
Yeah, and a big credit to UBC. They limited Lepke.
Oh, that's a great play.
Nasty play from Keturakis, just using the block going up. Barely having to jump being 6'7", which is a nice luxury, but a great play from him. But as I was saying, UBC limited Lepke to just 2 kills in set number 2 after he had 6 in the opening set of this match. So whatever adjustments UBC made on the blocking end of their game really helped. They had 5.5 blocks in that second set, along with 3 aces, which more than accounts for the gap that we saw in differential. The score, 25-18, was the score of the second set.
Lepke misses that one long. And yeah, I haven't seen very often where Trinity's hitting efficiency would be that low. But it's just, they haven't been in system much. We're not seeing as many of the aces per se, but just serving so tough, it's putting them in trouble. And UBC's making it really, oh! That fan got up close and personal with Finn McCarthy there as he chased that one right down into the bleachers. But you know, they've had some blocks, and they're digging some balls, you know, and just not getting a lot of really good looks. Schenko has been okay, 3 for 5 with 1 error. It's not bad. You know, Howe 1-2 on 6, so he's in the minus, but they haven't really been able to establish that middle consistently. And UBC continues to just tee off on their side, on their attacks. Keturakis flushes it down.
Keturakis' second kill of this match. A setter who loves to get himself involved in that offense. We've seen him go up and take a few rips. Lucky not to set it, but that time, good play. Correction, that'd be Keturakis' third kill.
Keturakis serve, handled by Elser. Schreimer on the run, outside to Lepke, and that's McCarthy and Deshane teaming up for the block. You got to wonder, you know, Lepke, who has been sick, we talked about, had strep throat after the adrenaline yesterday, played really well, and now maybe getting a little bit exhausted. Just doesn't seem to have the same pop as he did yesterday.
Yeah, not the same dominance we saw against McMaster Marauders. You have to remember this is a gym that favors the Trinity Western Spartans. Last time they were in a gold medal match in this building, they came away with the win over McMaster, but UBC so far doing everything they can to decrease the chance of Trinity Western three-peating as national champs.
Brar off the top of the block, kept alive by Bergen. Schreimer goes 60 pipe to Elser, and that finds the sideline.
Great shot from Elser coming out of the back row. He's got 5 kills. Puts him into the positives for his hitting efficiency today.
Now it's Kern on the line, and his serve finds the last tile that caught the UBC receive a bit high. You see Smith thought it was out. Kind of got frozen though, didn't even move.
Yeah, one of the first times really seen Tyson Smith not be able to handle the serve as he looks right at Kern and says, bring it on, serve me again.
Kedarakis pushed past the pin. McCarthy just tips it over. Schreimer goes middle to Ashenko, and we're seeing the Trinity Western offense start to come together here. 6-4 lead.
Trinity Western looking much better offensively in the early going of this set.
Kern's jump float, passed up there by Brar. Outside to McCarthy, and he uses that hand of Schreimer to go out of bounds.
Good side out run there from the Thunderbirds. Rookie McCarthy with the big serve, and that will send Irvin Brar, we saw last set, just rip off a nice serving run for the Thunderbirds, helping extend their lead a little bit.
Brar, huge toss, just long. That's all it takes. Like the thing, these teams are so close when the scores, you look at 22 and 18, but if UBC's serve is just off a little bit, and Trinity gets just that little bit more in system, right, how things quickly change, and that's why they're up 2 points here, 7-5. Lepke's serve, taken there by Smith. Kedarakis, back on this, basically a back 30, we'll call it, as he was pushed way over to the left, and finds him on the 60 to Deshane.
And a perfect pass there from Smith, and even better run. Great connection between Deshane and Kedarakis. That's a tough set to make and a tough ball to hit if you're a middle.
The setter-hitter connections on these two teams with all players, but middles on that pipe, all those real timing plays have just been incredible all weekend long. Schreimer all the outside to Elser, and Elser puts it down off the block. Trinity looking a little more comfortable here in this third set early on.
And they never seemed too out of their comfort zone. I'd say there's maybe 1 point in the second set when they were down that you could tell they were getting a little tentative on offense, trying to play a little more safe, sort of looking around at each other like who's going to save us here, but offense a little more alive. Let's look at that set from Kedarakis with one hand, and McCarthy. It's blocked initially by Trinity, but McCarthy able to put it back down on the recycle.
8-7, McCarthy going back. Down a great set by Kedarakis, one hand back. And just continues to speak to that aggression, right? A lot of players there, McCarthy went up and hit. They might just stay down and set a high ball outside. As soon as he saw that ball up in the air, he was getting ready to go up and take a swing. Elser, dug up by Brar. Nice catch by the referee behind us. Good hands. 9-7 Spartans. And this is, for referees too, right? The ones who aren't doing this game, they get to now sit in the crowd and watch. For everybody involved in this, all the hard work is kind of over now. Now you can just kind of enjoy, right? Even the teams, like now you just go out there and just be your best. Hopefully you're prepared as UBC gets the block, but for everybody involved, it's just now time to go out there and enjoy this last match of the year and what's been a great weekend of volleyball, a good showcase of Canadian volleyball in our country at the USports level. And now it's just determining who the best team in the country is for 2018. Howe, dug up by Smith, not enough. Side out Spartans.
Starting to see a little more side out style volleyball in this third set. very close as we approach the midway point. Trinity up by 2 and really going to need to try to put some pressure on the Birds with their serving. They've got one of the best men at the back line to do it.
Aggressive pass by Brar, back row to McCarthy, and McCarthy just long. A great run and a great look. He hit it well, just missed.
And that's some of the types of shots we saw McCarthy miss in the opening sets yesterday versus Alberta, but he has been on fire today. I believe, if our stats are correct, only his second error.
11-8 though, Trinity leading. Expected a big pushback from the Spartans team after losing the first 2 sets. Fired outside to Brar, slowed down, taken by Kern. They go middle to Howe, and he misses that one.
Jackson Howe struggling a bit this afternoon. On offense, that's his 3rd error. He's still in the negatives in terms of his hitting percentage. He really came alive and led a huge charge for their offense yesterday against McMaster.
2-point lead for Trinity though as Regier serves. Schreimer outside to Lepke. Good job on the cover there as Keterakis got a big block, but Trinity keeps it alive. And now middle to Duchesne, and a diving Schreimer can't come up with the dig. And you see Howe coming down with his hands on his face, kind of beige means, oh, I almost had you, just missed it.
And definitely wishing he'd have that one back.
Jordan Duchesne, I believe, now 4 for 4 with no errors. So not getting a ton of sets, but when he does, certainly taking advantage of it. I think UBC runs the middle just enough to keep the other blockers honest and establishes that pipe, obviously, too, with the middle over top. Oh, that ball's tight. Keterakis have to do something with it. Diving Bergen makes a save outside the court. Lepke deep down the line, and it falls down in front of West.
Nice shot from Lepke with the left hand. Able to find the right spot in the back corner of the UBC side of the court.
A lot of floor to be cleaned here now.
Lots of diving going on.
There was about 6 dives in that one rally.
A few spots referees saying that were missed. Good hustle from our floor sweepers.
Got to make mention again of how awesome of a job all the volunteers have done all weekend long in all the different areas here. Takes literally hundreds of people, as Howe gets an ace there, literally hundreds of people to make an event like this work, right? With all the staff at MAC and all the volunteers, the younger volleyball players, both male and female, how much it means to them to be involved in something like this. West, the nice pass outside to Brar. Soft block by Ashenko, kept alive. And now Brar tees off on that one. Comes back to the UBC side. Brar a 3rd time, and 3rd time's the charm for the Trinity Western block. As Lepke gets a big one on Brar. 14-10. And Coach McDonald is going to call timeout. So this is the pushback from Trinity that you expected. They just don't go away.
We were not expecting the Spartans to go quietly into this night. And they're clearly showing in this 3rd set they will not. That's a huge momentum point. They're 2 points away from having their first lead at the technical timeout in this entire match. And some great blocking there, 3 straight on Brar.
There's that diving cover save by Bergen as he went under the net, and then Trinity puts it down for the point.
Some great placement on that tip shot from Eric Lepke. We saw some great blocking as well on Brar from Lepke. A real power versus power matchup on the outside.
It's funny, Coach McDonald, speaking before the game, there was 4 possible outcomes to this match, right? So you win big, you win close, you lose close, or you lose big. So he said, you know, it ranked in that order. He says, you know, I hope it's just a good match, right? We hope for a good match, we want it to be close. He says, but I'll gladly take a 3-set win, you know, convincingly for us. I have no problem with that. You know, would love to win in 5. And, you know, the next would be, you know, if you lost in 5, if you lost a good battle and both teams played really well, then, you know, you walk away and just say, hey, we were 2 great teams and somebody had to win, right? Somebody had to lose. Just that you want to make sure you don't get blown out. Well, they won the first 2 sets, so they're close to that goal of what he was hoping for to win 3 straight, but I don't think any coach would have expected a 3-set victory. You're expecting a long haul, and that's what we're seeing right now is Trinity Western battling back after losing the first 2 sets as Kern finds the end line for the kill. Now he'll go back to serve. Jacob Kern, Nuke volleyball alumni in Edmonton. Smith's pass off the net. Keterakis, high ball outside to McCarthy. Kind of just tips it, and Lepke does the same thing back to the UBC side, and now Duchesne, slowed down by Ashenko, outside to Lepke, and Lepke hits that one long. And as well as Trinity has played in this set, this has probably been Lepke's worst attacking set of the 3, which is interesting. You would think with them up 3 points that it would be a lot of Lepke, but his numbers weren't bad in the first 2 sets, but hasn't been able to get into much rhythm here in the third.
Yeah, UBC done a really good job all afternoon. Lepke, we mentioned, had 6 kills in the first. You see a nice serve from Brar to close the gap within 2. But Lepke has 6 kills in the opening set, only 2 in the second. Not able to get much more going in this third set. He's been blocked a few times. UBC doing a really good job keying in on him, but Schreimer doing a great job just finding other guys to get the job done.
This is where Trinity's got to keep the aggression up here and find a way to side out and get the lead of the timeout, and that's what they will do as Schreimer dumps it down, and they will head to the technical, up 16-13, and looking a little bit better here in this third set than they did in the first 2 as UBC won 25-22 and 25-18. This can't be a shock for UBC. You had to know that Trinity was going to bounce back. We're going to chance to see some plays here from the early parts of this third set. A high tip, and then Schreimer finds Ashenko in the middle. One thing, we're seeing a lot more middle in this set, right, from Trinity than we saw earlier on, and success in the middle as well.
I think they just started to pass the ball a little bit better. We've seen a little more middle and transition as well from the Spartans. Should be such a big weapon, like we've said so much over this weekend. Jared, is so crucial to be able to establish that middle presence at any point in a match. Obviously, you would like to get it established very early. Going to open up a lot more avenues, a lot more chances for your outside hitters later on in a match. You can make that other team always know that your middle is a threat. Definitely some middle threats here in this USports National Championship game.
16-13, Lepke on the line. He can definitely rattle off a few in a row here and try to increase this Trinity lead. And a good-sized crowd here to the final, obviously, with most people hoping that to be the hometown McMaster team. A big portion of the supporters are coming from the Hamilton area, but they're all sticking around to see some great volleyball, right? You have your UBC fans, you have your Trinity fans, and the rest just want to see the best volleyball in the country, and they've been getting a treat here all weekend long. We will have a substitution. Danny Aspenleader will check in here for Jordan Duchesne after Duchesne gets the kill.
That was a big side out coming out of the tech for UBC. Get in Lepke off the service line. Put the ball back in their hands. We'll try to get a hold here and close this gap. And again, my broadcaster Jinx coming through.
Yep, shouldn't have said anything.
Got to work on it for next time, but
don't worry, there'll be a next time, Tom. You'll get to do another one of these for sure.
I hope so. Wouldn't mind being able to do it again with you. Had a great weekend in the booth with you and Kyle Compo.
Yeah, it's been lots of fun. Really enjoyable experience. We're so lucky here with these seats, and you can see on the feed how close we are to the court, and really have the best seats in the house, and just getting to watch 11 amazing volleyball games over the last 3 days, and the best athletes and players and coaches, and seeing all the strategizing going back and forth and the adjustments, and it's inspiring. You know, you want to go back and try to use some of these things with the teams that you work with as Elser goes off the hands. 18-15 now as Schreimer goes back to the line.
Elser's 9th point of the afternoon. Lepke still leading though with 11.
Yeah, I think Lepke's had 1 kill in this set. Keith West is dug up there, and Ashenko, or actually it's Howe who takes a seat. That shot from Elser misses.
Just a quick background check. 3 kills for Lepke in this set. But still only hitting a mere 185. He's got 6 errors. He was an absolute force yesterday, as we already mentioned, against Mac. 23 kills. 26.5 points in the game.
26.5 points, yeah. Good effort there from Kern to track it down. And the irony is he runs all that way and he runs almost right into the Trinity Western photographer on the other side of the court. And now this is a very interesting part of this set here. Got to think Trinity has 2 timeouts left. If they don't side out here, I wouldn't be shocked to see Josephson use one of those. He doesn't want to fall behind in this set. Elser on the right, dug up by West. Keterakis, middle to Regier, and that's mishit. He comes down saying, yeah, that's my fault. It was a good set.
Great serve, though, by Keith West on that last point. Thunderbirds is not able to capitalize on the other end on offense.
Elser on the line. We've seen all different types of serves, and that one he goes for that float style, and they go right back to Regier, and it's dug up. Kern keeps it alive. Can they get it over? No, they can't. A good effort, though, on the pursuit.
Love the confidence Byron Keterakis has in his middles. Regier making an error on the last play, then Keterakis saying, not to worry, I'll give it right back to you, give you another chance. And he capitalized on that one as he goes back to serve.
Love when the setters give their hitters a chance to redeem themselves after an error. It's exactly what Keterakis did there with Joel Regier. Now Regier goes back to serve, handled by Bergen. Outside, Lepke one-on-one. Nice kill there by Lepke. 20-18 now. Jackson Howe going back to serve. West with the pass. Keterakis outside to Brar. Brar, great shot. Just overpowered the defender. Howe, he hit him right in the arms. Just had too much pace, couldn't handle it.
So impressive. We've seen so many types of attacks from Brar. I know he's a fairly experienced player on the beach as well, and his ability to just kind of stop mid-approach, adjust to where the set is, and then almost just go straight up if he has to. And just hit the ball so hard, regardless of what type of approach he gets, with so much force behind it. So hard to dig when he hits it hard cross.
Two-point advantage again for the Spartans. Kern on the line. His jump float just gets over the tape. They go back to Brar, and Brar's cross-court shot misses wide. Referee pointed the wrong way first, quickly corrected himself. But nothing gets a volleyball player more worked up than when the ref points the wrong way right off the hop. Never, whoa! But it is Trinity's point, and Coach McDonald calls his second and final timeout. They trail 22-19 here in the third.
Definitely what we expected to see from Trinity. Much better showing here in this third set. Looking to extend this game to a fourth. We knew they were not going to go away easily. Definitely the most back and forth set, the closest one already that we've seen. And fans, if you're looking for some more great volleyball action in the USport world, the women's gold medal game, first serve about 15 minutes ago. My hometown school, my school, Ryerson Rams, looking to complete an undefeated season, knock on wood, taking on the Alberta Golden Bears. Ryerson with a big, some would consider an upset victory over the #1 ranked Calgary Dinos last night. So if this game should end shortly, or when it does end, make sure to head on over for what should be a spectacular women's final.
That's taking place in Laval. A new gym there in Laval as DeShane's tip falls down the floor. Apparently just a beautiful facility. The nationals that I went to in Laval, it was only ever in the field house. Now they have a new gym as Guidi's going to come in here to serve for Brar. Regier ran onto the court there. It wasn't his turn to come on yet. He was too excited. Now it's Guidi who will serve for Brar. Guidi's jump float, passed there by Bergen. Schreimer to Kern out of the back row, and Kern misses wide. It's a great hit. He really got a hold of it. Just missed by a tile.
Time that attack perfectly. Nice high set from Schreimer.
Coach Josephson is going to call timeout here. Spartans still lead 22-21. This is nervous times here if you're a Spartans fan. They're down 2 sets to none. They need this third set.
Attack error there.
We have a couple plays here, Tom, we're going to see from this third set.
Yeah, that attack error in the last play, bringing the Thunderbirds back within 1. Like we said, this set has become a lot more back and forth, a lot of side-out volleyball we're seeing. Deshane been really good in the middle. But again, just as we've talked about all tournament long, UBC's serve will put you in a lot of trouble. Always have to do your best to pass well against the team that led the country in aces.
The teams head back to the court. 22-21 is the advantage. But the T-Birds are serving. It's Guidi who's coming off the bench. We've seen him come in for McCarthy on the opposite, play a big factor, but this time just coming in to serve.
Interesting, we talk about the style of play for UBC being serving really aggressively, and I would say perhaps Brar is the most aggressive server, but Coach McDonald electing to put Guidi in place of Brar.
That Guidi serve goes into the net, and now Brar will check back in.
And who else would you rather have at the service line than Eric Lepke here if you're Trinity Western looking to force a 4th set?
Lepke, who can give you that instant offense from the service line, goes after that one, hits it long. So a good side out there needed for the T-Birds. And it'll be Deshane who will go back to the line as Regier checks back to the front row. 23-22. UBC 3 points away from a national championship. The 3 hardest points they've earned all season, probably. Elser dug up by Brar. Keterakis to West. Schreimer blocked, and Brar caught deep, but he does get the save. Now it's tight. West, power tip, dug up there by Lepke. They go all the way outside to Elser, and then Brar with another diving dig. Keterakis 60 to Regier, tipped over. Bergen diving save. Schreimer on the run, puts it back to the UBC side. Keterakis back to McCarthy. Soft block, kept alive. What a cover. West goes up and hits it off the hands. Oh, considering the circumstances, maybe the biggest rally of the day. 23-23. Great play all around.
That is a huge point for the UBC Thunderbirds. A terrific rally by both teams. Irvin Brar playing some spectacular defense in the back row. And a bit of scramble ball, but UBC coming out on top. We're not, and we got a game to 2.
First to 2, win by 2. Schreimer pushed past the pin, and Elser blocked by McCarthy and Regier. And somehow out of nowhere, Tom, we have championship point. It looked like Trinity was in total control of this almost this entire set. Really probably had a lead, 2 points, 3 points, almost the whole set. And now a couple big points here from the T-Birds, and it's 24-23, championship point for UBC.
Yeah, I almost got too caught up watching this game and looking up at the score. I was like, oh, now we got a championship point on our hands. Great job. UBC rallying back, winning that great rally just a few points ago. I think we're going to take another look at it here. Irvin Brar with some great defense in the back row and some great coverage from him as a dive in there to keep it alive. Keith West with a couple attempts and a good defense too on the Trinity side. But UBC just doing everything they need to keep that alive. Great diving touch by Bergen. Just some great volleyball late in this championship match. And ultimately it's UBC as West just blasts that one off the hands of the Trinity block. We come out of the timeout, and we've got championship point here. The crowd on their feet.
Everybody standing here at the Burridge Gymnasium. Gold medal point, championship point. Deshane serve, clips the tape, and it's up, kept alive. Oh my goodness, what a rally. Keterakis back to McCarthy, and he's stuck blocked by Elser. Oh man, we're literally inches, Tom, centimeters, millimeters away from UBC claiming gold, and a diving save to keep it alive. Holy smokes, what a play.
Now UBC gonna have to try to play side out to get back to championship point again.
That's incredible. A Schenko serve taken there by Smith, outside to West. West, play continues off the block to go West again, and he hits it into the aerial. And now we have a set point for Trinity.
So we see a big swing for the UBC Thunderbirds. Now a quick 2-point swing. No timeouts left for either team. We're going to have to play this one out. And broadcasters on the edge of their seat. Fans are out of their seat. What a finish we are surely in for.
Mashenko serve. Pass there by Brar. Keterakis, high ball, West. Off the block and down. Side out UBC. We're back to deuce. 25-25. I just can't believe that they got that ball up, Tom.
Looking like that may have just trickled over and was going to find the floor. What a finish that would have been, but Trinity Western not letting it happen easily.
So 25-25, we're back to even. McCarthy on the line. Everybody's standing, nobody's sitting here. And he gets a service ace as it goes off the lefty and out of bounds. And now once again, we have championship point. There's no timeouts left. This one has to be played out. McCarthy will serve again. Can they do it here? Can UBC bring the title back to Vancouver? McCarthy, the first year, all rookie team. Puts the serve in play, pass by Bergen, it's tight. West puts it down, and for the first time since 1983, and the fourth time in program history, the UBC Thunderbirds are your USports National Championship. The T-Birds take it in Hamilton.
Wow, just pure joy you can see from the UBC Thunderbirds. What a tournament they've had. We talked about it just from the first whistle against UNB through the semifinal against Alberta and in this final match against such a talented Trinity Western team. They're able to pull out a huge 3-set sweep over the two-time reigning national champions. They will happily put on their championship t-shirts and caps. Hats off to both teams on a hard-fought tournament. And what a game we had. What a tournament we were treated to, Jared.
1967, 1976, 1983, and 2018 in the 52nd USport Men's National Volleyball Championship. It's the UBC Thunderbirds from Vancouver who end their provincial rivals streak. Trinity Western was going for 3 consecutive national championships, but it's UBC, the team to take them down. 25-22, 25-18, 27-25. And man, you got to give all the credit in the world to these two teams who have been the class of the field. And we'll have a chance to see this last point here. We're going to get it queued up, and you can see just how this game ended. The ball was passed tight, and Keith West, what a fitting finish. Keith West, who made a transfer over from Calgary to play his 5th and final season here at the T-Birds, and you see the players just going crazy, and that's some incredible action. Our country is in great hands. Our volleyball future is so bright with all these amazing players, and so you got to say, what a great career the 5th years in this match for these two teams. Ben Chow, Keith West, Irvin Brar, Matt Santema, Matt Guidi on the UBC side, and for Trinity Western, their 5th years, Mark Antoniuk, Adam Schreimer, the 2018 USports Player of the Year. Their careers will end here today, but nothing to be ashamed of for any of these players or coaches. It was incredible volleyball all weekend long, and UBC just a little bit better. And you know what? I think back to January, Tom, and had an opportunity to do the webcast when U of M played Trinity Western, and Ben Josephson asked me, he said, how did UBC look? What do you think? What do you think of them? And I said, they look pretty good, man. They look pretty good. And he said, well, they are perfectly constructed to beat us. If they play their best game, I'm not sure we can beat them. That's what he told me back in January, and I got to say, I think this was UBC's best game all weekend long. They were just fantastic. Right from the first serve on Friday, they've been absolutely perfect, and that's what you're hoping for at the end of the year. And it took Trinity Western to be perfect those last 2 seasons. They beat the host 2 years ago here with Mac. They beat the host last year. They beat the host again this year in the semifinals with this UBC team. Just too good. They were just simply too good, and Trinity Western just a little bit short. Huge congratulations go to head coach Kerry McDonald. Only his 2nd season at the helm of UBC. And let me tell you, these two teams, Tom, they are not going anywhere. This is going to be a rivalry with two young head coaches and these great programs that is going to last a long time. I'll tell you that, a real long time. These are two first-class coaches and programs, and there's a bunch of other teams that strive to be in this position, but this year it's UBC who comes out on top. Incredible. It was just fun to watch.
Absolutely, so much fun to watch the entire weekend. It was 3 long days sitting in the gym, but today has felt like it's been 5 minutes with the amount of excitement we've gotten on the court as UBC continues to celebrate. And, one player, another story in particular, it's really nice. Ben Chow coming back for his 5th and final year of eligibility with UBC. He was an All-Canadian as a left side, now back with UBC as a libero. And what a great finish to his career, getting to go out as a national champion.
And what an incredible final few plays of the game, too. Like, for the way it all to kind of come together here, where it was Trinity who was up, and UBC comes back. They get a gold medal point. They almost get an ace to finish it. Trinity battles back. They get a set point. Then UBC comes back with a couple points of their own. I mean, it just was awesome, awesome volleyball. It was a pleasure to be out here. I hope everybody at home enjoyed, because sitting here in person was something real special. I thought the tournament 2 years ago was amazing. This one, maybe even better. Finn McCarthy named player of the game. It was Eric Lepke who was player of the game for Trinity Western. McCarthy, the first year, who had some huge plays.
McCarthy finished the match off with a terrific serving run, really put Trinity in trouble. At one point, looked like he was going to have an ace to win it, and for a diving save by Trinity, kept it alive, and then a great serve on match point, allowing Keith West to put the ball down.
The big thing that I always admire in these situations is that I find really incredible is how Trinity Western, they've had so much success, right? They're going for their 3rd championship in a row here today. But all that matters is this game, right? They're not thinking, well, at least we've won 2 in a row, right? At least we won 2 of the last 3. No, that's not how it works. Every season is independent. And I know that these players and coaches, they'll be motivated by this, and they'll do what they can to be better next season. So we're seeing some all-star recognition here for the tournament. Looks like Eric Lepke being named a tournament all-star. And Brandon Coppers from McMaster. I mean, what more can you say about him? I mean, he was just amazing. Well-deserved recognition. See who else is going to get named here. From Trinity, also from Trinity Western, Pearson Ashenko. So Adam Schreimer was trying to do something that, to my knowledge, no other starting setter had ever done. That's win 3, not only 3 consecutive, but 3 national championships. Falls just short. And I think it's, 3 straight doesn't really tell the whole story, right? I mean, the first and third sets, they were close, as we see Tariq Sani also get named a tournament all-star here. This would make a pretty good team, eh? If you had these guys all together on one team.
Wouldn't be too bad. I would take, I'd be placing my money on them against a lot of other international all-star teams.
Yeah, and a lot of these players have played together at various levels, whether it be through club or through national teams. See from UBC, Irvin Brar. And that's the Volleyball Canada fan, the bigger picture where you kind of look at it, right, is this is just hopefully a sign of things to come for the future of our programs for all these great athletes and great players moving forward. So Irvin Brar being named the RW Quigley Fair Play winner. So it's basically a sportsmanship award that's voted on by the players. A great selection.
Yeah, I talked to Ryerson outside hitter Lucas Coleman before the tournament, who's a good friend of Brar, teammates on the Fisher team this summer, and the main piece of praise he had for him was just how mentally tough of a player he is.
Byron Keterakis named MVP. Well deserved. The big setter, 6'8". Yeah, I'd like this team's chances if I had them on a Sunday afternoon playing a game of intramurals.
Absolutely.
I think I drafted a pretty good fantasy team. What incredible. That was just lots of fun.
That was so much fun to watch. Sad it's over.
Yeah,
Sad
that's
our
the thing. I
season
mean,
is over.
it just, I don't think anybody expected 3 straight. I think we were all prepared for a long haul, and it looked like it was going to go to a 4th set, the way things were working out in the 3rd, and UBC just kind of snuck in there and stole it away at the end with some big plays. So now we're going to see some medals being awarded here now, and these new medals, I got to say, I have a couple bronze medals at home from my time coaching with U of M, and these things are way nicer. They're kind of more modern looking, and
Nice.
bigger.
Shiny.
Yeah, they're bigger and they're shiny. Real nice. That opportunity to see the MAC bronze medal up close after they had won. So we're going to stay with you right till the end of the medal presentation here. Trinity Western will get their silver medals first. It's a pretty dejected looking bunch, understandably. But you know, the big thing, I mean, for those 5th-year players is it's always hard to lose in that 5th year, right? And I think that's the really tough thing, ending your career with a loss. But these guys are going to walk away, and they've had incredible careers at MAC. Or sorry, not at MAC, at Trinity. Playing here at MAC, so they have some good memories. Obviously, a great memory 2 years ago, and one that isn't going to feel so good right now. But and for the younger players who have a chance to return next season, you know, this is there's the motivation, you know, to make sure they win one more game.
You know, and obviously Trinity Western very dejected after the loss, and understandably so, but you know, there also is the point you can make of how many other teams would just be absolutely thrilled to be in your position. I think it's just a big testament to the strength of this program, how upsetting a national silver medal is to them.
Well, I think that's when you know you've made it, right? When you're unhappy winning anything but gold, I think you know you're in the right spot.
Yeah,
you know, if you're just happy winning bronze or just happy winning silver, then you probably weren't ever going to win gold. You didn't have the makeup to get to that point. So when these losses start to become really disappointing, you know, that's the motivation needed to go back there and work even harder. And I know that this is not from a lack of work ethic or lack of effort, lack of talent. Just simply, somebody's got to win and somebody's got to lose, right? And it's so hard. That's why teams don't win 3 years in a row, right? It's tough. UBC came in here and just played lights out, plain and simple, just incredible in all aspects of the game. If we go through their stats, when they hit 311 as a team, they had 7 aces, 40 kills, 10 blocks. I mean, they just did everything that you needed to do to win a set of volleyball. Trinity, they're probably going to look at it and say, yeah, some of our numbers don't look as good as we're used to, but they were put in that position by the pressure UBC put on them with their serve, and that was the big factor that was known right from the beginning of the year. The way UBC serves, if they're serving well, which is always an if, because when you're that high risk, it can go the other way, as it did against Alberta in their Canada West semifinal, right? They made a ton of errors, and Alberta took advantage of it. Then that's what goes the other way. So this is certainly not, Trinity is not in a situation where they are surprised by what happened today, right? In terms of the way UBC played. This is what they expected, and it was just a matter of, can UBC do it? And they did, and they're your national champs for 2018. It's incredible.
Absolutely, and one final piece, I guess you can say, for Trinity, like we've already said, lots of hope going forward. They're losing player of the year, Adam Schreimer, but coming in behind them, they've got Maddox Greaves, Derek Epp, someone whose name we didn't really bring up much of this weekend because he wasn't able to play. He's a transfer who came over from the University of Saskatchewan. They'll be happy to see him jump into the lineup next year.
Yeah, that'd be a good battle between Epp and Greaves next year in that setter's position. As all of the coaches for Trinity Western now being called forward. There's a lot of coaches. There's a big staff here for Trinity. I believe they brought about 30 people in their entire delegation. And Ben Josephson, tons of respect for. It's a lot of great work for volleyball in the country. And now we will get to see the gold medals from UBC. something these guys have been working towards for a long time, right? This starts when you're, this doesn't start this year, right? This starts when you're in grade 6 and grade 7. You go out and play for the first time. Ultimately, that's when all this work goes, and there's so many people to thank, and that's what I love most about when you win. You get an opportunity to sit back and kind of reflect about all the coaches and all the people, and for Ben Chow, that must just be, Ben Chow and Keith West, especially because of the path to kind of get here. A lot of the other guys, it means a lot to them. It's just every guy on this team has a bit of a unique story to it. A lot of them would have played for 2 different coaches at UBC. Mr. McDonald's only in his second year. All the players getting called up here, and you got to be pretty excited if you're a UBC recruit, committed to next season coming in. Now you're joining the defending USports national champions, and there's going to be a lot to replace on this UBC team. With West and Brar both graduating, those are two big spots to fill anytime you're losing your 2 starting left sides. But and have some big players coming in.
And with the play we saw from Keterakis, you wonder, definitely some pro offers on the table for him to entertain moving forward, although he would have a year of eligibility left should he choose to use it.
Definitely could be an option for sure. They got to make that decision. Do you come back and schooling-wise too, right? Is he close to graduation in school? There's opportunities to go play pro. That does happen after the 4th year, but for the moment, none of these guys are worried about any of that kind of stuff. I'm sure, knowing what these coaches are like, on the flight home tomorrow, they'll start planning. But tonight, the rest of the day today, they're going to enjoy this as a team, and I'm sure they'll go for a big dinner and enjoy the moment. They've earned it.
As they should, absolutely.
Yeah, they went 9-1 this weekend in sets. Had a huge run.
Must be such a great feeling finishing 2nd in the national rankings, 3rd in Can West. Such a powerful conference to come out of.
Yeah, I think that's what makes this even a little bit more sweet, right, is the fact that they did have that little blip, and luckily for them, Canada West Conference had 3 berths, and maybe they would have played it differently if they didn't, right? Maybe if they knew they had to win Canada West, it'd be a little bit different potentially, but they did have that second chance. They were able to have that blip and come back and be better because of it. So Ian Perry get his medal here. Ian, a former player. Perry and Laborde, both former players with the program. Matt Kruger, a former coach with Thompson Rivers, and Kerry McDonald. Very happy for Kerry. He's just a super guy. One of the smartest guys I've ever met. Great coach. He has this ability to get players to do things without raising his voice. Not a quality I have, nor the patience that I have. But now we're going to see the captains come forward and get the Tantramar Trophy and the USports banner. And that's a big banner.
That's a big trophy.
They're both huge. Captains coming forward. The 550ers, how fitting. They're going to get the trophy and the banner here. Get a big picture all as one big group. That's an awesome photo op. Unfortunately, we're in the back of it. Duck down. I think we're not quite in the angle. Oh. Want more photos here. Keith West coming back. Well, any final thoughts here, Tom, before we wrap things up?
Not much. Just grateful for a terrific weekend of volleyball as the big celebration with the rest of the team in the cup takes place.
Doing their jig. They've been doing it all season long. So that'll about wrap things up here. It's been an absolute pleasure, my friend.
You as well.
We did not know each other 2 days ago. We just spent the last 3 days calling 11 volleyball matches together, and it's been great action. Huge thanks to everybody who was involved in putting this weekend on, all the fans, all the volunteers, everybody from Mohawk College who was involved on the technical side of things with the production. You guys were great. Huge thanks to everybody. We hope you have a great rest of the weekend, and we will see you next season in Laval. Congratulations, UBC, your 2018 Men's National Volleyball Champion.